What's up guys, my name's James, and in today's video I want to break down for you more than 12 ways that you can make money on Airbnb. I want to break down 12 different services that we can offer as Airbnb property managers that will help to add more value to our clients, and these are 12 different ways that you can monetize your business. And so this is a really valuable video for you if you are thinking about managing properties on Airbnb, or you're already managing some properties on Airbnb and you want to get an idea of how you can take things to the next level, how you can start charging more, how you can potentially get some additional income streams from different properties that you're managing, and overall just level up your business and make sure that you're not leaving any money on the table. So I'm gonna pull over here. We wanna check out, I'm gonna pull up on the screen here and show you there's basically 3 different levels of services that we can offer to property owners for Airbnb management. Now, the first one is what I call on the far left here of the diagram. The first one is what I like to call add-ons. So these are going to be the one-time services that you can do as an add-on to your property owner that's going to, number one, drive value for them. You can see that each one of these, we'll walk through, there's 4 of them. Property setup. That's where you're basically helping to set up the property initially, or if it's already set up and it's already operating, helping them to upgrade the property itself, whether that's adding some more amenities, upgrading maybe the linens, upgrading some of the furniture. That's a service that you can take care of for them that's going to help them to drive more revenue through the listing, because you can help them to focus on what's actually going to drive the dollar value of their bookings, what's going to make a really big difference in the number of bookings they get and how much they can charge for their listing, and not go wasting money on some 4K TV or some hot tub that's not actually going to generate them more income. And so you'll know for that property which ones are going to drive revenue. If you're not already experienced, and again, there's a link down below to our free training where I walk through step-by-step how to build this business. We're going to go into more detail about how to make properties perform. And if you understand that sort of stuff, then you'll be able to draw out really quickly what things are going to make a property stand out and what things are going to give you a really good ROI to invest in, like Netflix, whether that's for some properties, a hot tub is going to be a really good investment, things like that. So property setup is the first way that we can drive a lot more value to our property owners, because it'll increase their returns in the property, and we can obviously charge for that. So we can charge either a one-time fee or we can charge an hourly fee in order to go and actually take care of finding the right furniture or the right amenities, sourcing them, getting them set up at the property. That's something you can charge whatever amount you want for, depending on the size of the property. Obviously, if you try to charge $20,000 to a small property that's bringing in $5,000 a month, it's not going to happen. But we have had literally $75,000 setup packages some of my students have had with, big, huge properties that need it. So that's a really great income source there. Property staging goes right along with that. So if you want to do less than just setting up, you don't want to go through a full refurnishing, but you want to just stage the property for the photos, get it looking really nice, to get a photographer to come in there. And then that complements photography really well, which is the next one, and getting the photos taken. Again, those 2 things are going to drive a ton of value. You'll see, in any of these videos where I talk about on the channel how to make your listing perform, the top thing that I talk about is photography. If you don't have phenomenal photos for your listing, if one of your properties that you manage doesn't have phenomenal photos, then there's a ton of money being left on the table. That's the number one thing that you can do to improve your results on Airbnb, is get better photos. And that means having the property staged for the photos and having the right photographer go in there with the right set of systems. Again, if you want to learn more about exactly what systems those are, get all my step-by-step breakdowns, that's covered in the free training down below. But that's going to be a really big one, and you can charge an additional one-time fee for that. Typically, you're going to be about $300 to $500 for the staging, and then you're going to be anywhere from $200 to $500 for the photography. That part of that is going to go to the photographer, and then part of that's just going to be in your pocket as an additional upcharge. Listing setup, that's another one. That's a great way, actually. One of the big things that we do to get clients to take action right away when we first meet with them is you say, hey, look, to set up your listing, it's going to take about 6 to 8 hours, because that's actually what it takes to get a listing properly set up, to fully create the listing description, get it integrated on all the different platforms, all that stuff. It takes time. It really does. And so we can either charge for that. We can charge a couple $100s for that, get $500, $800 for that, or we can give you an incentive. And this is a great way to get clients to make a decision quickly with you and not, be waiting, sitting on the fence with you, to say, hey, we'll waive that listing setup fee if you decide to take action today. So that way they can save some money. You're going to go and, again, provide a huge amount of value, because you're going and doing all this work getting the listing set up, not just getting it set up, but getting it set up and optimized so that you've got a perfect listing description, the right headline, the right photos, the right pricing, all that stuff. And you can either do that as an additional income stream or use it as an incentive, like we do sometimes, to get people to make a decision right away when they are a good fit with us. So those are those add-on services. Now, those are one-time services. So by their nature, they're going to happen like one time. You might want to get the property, like do a property setup, kind of do some furniture updates once every year maybe. But largely these are going to be one-time expenses. And so they're going to be one-time revenue for you, one-time income for you in your business, which is nice. But then really what you want is going to be recurring revenue. It's happening every single month. And so this kind of breaks down into two different levels of service that you can offer. Now, the one is going to be your pre-check-in services. So these are going to be the things that you do virtually, that you do remotely, and that don't require you to actually be managing properties locally. It's very simple. And these are things that you can very much build an online-only business from. Now, I do recommend focusing on a single location, on a single niche, so you can really understand that well and deliver more value to them. But your things like pricing, so that's going to be actually setting and optimizing the pricing of the listing to make sure that you're constantly getting the top dollar value, not leaving any money on the table, but not setting your prices too high that you're going to lose out on bookings. There's really a lot of science behind that. There's a strategy to that. A lot of people don't do it properly. So you can help your property owners with proper pricing. You can do what we call SEO, but I don't mean traditional SEO. I don't mean ranking your property on Google. I mean like actual on-platform SEO. So there's things that you can do to make your property perform better in the search rankings on platforms like Airbnb, Booking.com, HomeAway, VRBO, to make sure that you're on the first page of search results when someone's looking for a property, rather than being buried 2, 3, 4, 5 pages into the search results. There's a number of different tricks that you can use to make sure that your property stands out and that it rises to the top of the search results for people. That's what we call Airbnb SEO. So that's something you can do. The other one's guest communication, just responding to guest messages. Now there's ways that you can automate that with software. There's some of it that you can do yourself if you want to. That's gonna be really helpful. Again, just knowing what to say, how to say it, that's a slightly skilled skill to have. It's not something that just anyone can do. And so certainly anyone can just answer questions, but you have to know how to really conduct yourself appropriately to really be more of a concierge, be helpful to guests, actually answer their questions politely, and actually have what it takes to close them and get them to actually book the property when they're inquiring in that pre-booking stage. That's going to be guest communication, and then guest check-in, just making sure they have all the information. I don't mean actual at the property, getting them checked into the property. I mean just getting them like all the information they need to get checked in, giving them the guest guidebook, teaching them everything they need to know, answering their questions about how to access stuff within the property. That's going to be like your pre-check-in work. And now that is something that if you want to know, like I know I'm not going into detail right now on all the exact step-by-steps for each one of those. If you want to learn more of the details on that, again, that's available in the free training link below. No tricks, no hidden anything, not hicks, I didn't mean to say that. No hidden agenda, no tricks, anything like that. Like it literally is a free training that you can go and get all this stuff and get all this knowledge for yourself. So if you haven't already checked that out, then I highly recommend that you do. It's an all new training that we put together that highlights all this different stuff that we're talking about here. And exactly how to do it, how to charge for it, exactly what you should do there. The pre-check-in stuff though, if we kind of get back on track here, the pre-check-in stuff is something that I recommend that you do whether you're managing properties remotely or managing properties locally. So if you're managing properties remotely, you're going to be able to do all that stuff online very easily. It's still going to generate a high amount of value for your customers, because if you have someone optimizing your pricing, if you have someone optimizing your search engine optimization on the platforms, if you have someone doing the guest communication for you, if you have someone taking care of getting the guests all the information they need, that's going to do two things. It's going to, number one, it's going to improve your returns, right? Because your SEO, your pricing, that's going to improve your results on Airbnb. It's also going to reduce your headache, because at that point, you as a property owner are only really taking care of the guest like from the guest check-in to the guest checkout. Everything before that, it's like guests just get handed to you on a silver platter with everything they need. And largely, most guests aren't going to have questions throughout their stay, maybe one or two kind of thing. And so if it's done right, then that removes a lot of headache from the property owner as well, a lot of worry, and a whole bunch of the workload. And that's something that you can do from literally anywhere in the world, which is really nice. You can do that remotely. You can do it from abroad. It's really very much an internet business at that point. So that's a really nice, cool thing about it. Now, you're typically not going to be able to charge a full 20% management fee for that. You're typically going to be more in the range of 10, maybe 15% for a management service like that. But obviously there's a trade-off there because you are running a much more scalable business because you're not dealing with cleaners, you're not dealing with guest check-ins, you're not dealing with like guest communication once they actually get into the property. Even just eliminating the cleaning team and the gopher from your list of things to manage, it just makes the business a lot more scalable. As you can imagine, you now can scale to 20 properties, 30 properties, 40 properties, and still have it be like you and one virtual assistant, maybe two virtual assistants doing guest communication at the higher end of that. But it just makes the business a lot easier to grow. So you can, what you lose out for on your margin, you can't charge a full 20% in most cases. Like I said, you're charging 10 or 15 most of the time. You more than make up for in the ability to scale because it's quite easy to make up for that when you can just go and manage 2 properties rather than managing 1 property. So that's that. That's gonna be your pre-check-in stuff. Those are 4 additional ways that you can add value and earn more from your listings. The last 4 are gonna be post-check-in. So this is everything that happens after the guest actually checks into the property. And this is where I recommend that you're gonna be managing properties locally. I recommend just staying local to you at this point because it's going to be a lot easier to do quality control when you're first starting out. Now, by all means, I do have students that I've worked with that have started completely remotely in a different country than where they actually live is where they're managing properties, and they have an on-the-ground cleaning team. They have an on-the-ground gopher, and they have built relationships with those people, and the business is running and it's going well. However, it is more challenging than doing it locally because if you're 20 minutes away from your property, then if anything goes wrong in the first couple listings that you manage when you're first getting your feet, getting started in the business, you can very quickly and easily go and just fix anything yourself if you need to. Now, long term, no matter what, you always want to build the business in such a way that long term you can step away from it and you can go and travel, you can go do what you want. However, don't expect that the day you first start in business, you're going to be making $5,000 a month and be completely location independent, completely remote. You don't have to touch anything. Like, that's just not real. Anyone that sells you that dream that you're going to be making $5,000 a month a day from now and that you're going to be totally hands off from the business and it's just money rolling in and filling up your bank account, that's a pile of crap. Like, that's just not real, right? You have to deliver value. And in order to automate a business's operations, you have to first do them yourself. You have to first really master them. And then you have to have the systems in place to be able to automate those. Now, obviously you can skip a lot of that initial process of figuring out yourself by learning from an expert who's already done it. That's why I do what I do. But needless to say, like, you do have to have systems in place. You do have to put the right people in place in your business in order to walk away from it and be really hands off. Again, if you want to learn all those systems, then check out the link down below to the free training. But the last 4 there are going to be guest communication. This is guest communication post check-in. So this is when you're answering questions the guests may have about their stay, about the property that they've now checked into. This could be anything ranging from, hey, what's the easiest way to get downtown from here? What is the easiest way to get to XYZ location? How do I use the thermostat? Can you remind me what the Wi-Fi password is? All this different stuff that they may ask during their stay. Like I said before, the reality is that this is largely going to be, if you're doing a good job giving guests what they need prior to them checking in, giving them all the information, all the answers to their questions, a lot of the time this is going to be very minimal. But that's going to be part of it. The other one's going to be guest checkout. Just make sure they get checked out on time. They have all their checkout details. They know what to do, where to leave the keys, how to leave the property, all that stuff. The next one's gonna be cleaning. This is a huge one that you can remove a ton of headache from property owners by just organizing the cleaning for them. Like I said, this is something that you can very easily do, especially if you are managing properties local to you, and that you just have a clean team set up. Now, getting a clean team set up, finding the right clean team, getting them set up, giving them all the tools and systems that they need to be able to operate effectively is not an easy task. It's something that you can very much do. You can easily do it if you have the right systems. And I'll explain it to you like this. Imagine if you just went out right now and, like, let's say that you haven't watched any of my other videos about this, and that you went out and you tried to find a cleaning team. Good chances are you'd make a few mistakes, right? You wouldn't know exactly what to be looking for. You wouldn't know how to qualify them. You wouldn't know how to make sure that they do a good job every time without you going by to the property and checking on them. And that's where most hosts are coming at this from. Like, most hosts are really going into this pretty blind, and they're just going out and trying to find the right person, but they don't really know who the right person is. And they try to make sure that that person does a great job consistently, but they don't know any other way to make sure of that other than going by to the property themselves to do it. So that's the level of headache that you're removing from your guests, right? From your hosts, rather, from the property owners that you're working with. That's the level of headache that you're taking off of their plate, but you don't do it by taking all that headache and just giving it onto yourself. That would be silly. You do it by having the right systems to be able to find the right person the first time, give them the systems they need so they can manage themselves, give them the tools so that they can schedule themselves. You don't have to tell them when to go. They just check the calendar and go there. And you can really systemize and automate that whole process, but still take a whole bunch of headache off of the backs of your property owners that you're working with. The last one's maintenance. Similar kind of situation. The odd time maintenance is going to come up at the property, and that for the property owner is going to cause a lot of headache. They're probably not going to know what to do, who to call. If you have a good system for this, a good set of SOPs, we call them, standard operating procedures, meaning that you know exactly what to do, when to do it, how to deal with the different problems that arise, then it's very much just boom, boom, boom. It gets done. It's off the property owner's plate. And now you start entering the world where if you're offering all this, you can be charging the one-time setup expenses for your one-time fees. You can be making a good amount of income from that every time you bring on a new property. And then you're consistently earning 20%, 30% per month in management fees because you're providing all of this that we've talked about here. You're delivering massive value because you're taking all the headache off the property owner's plate. They no longer have to do anything day to day with the property. They literally just sit back and watch the money come in, and they're paying for that. Obviously, they're hiring you to do that service, but all the headache is off of their plate now, and they are performing a lot better than before because you've helped them to improve their pricing, improve their SEO, all that stuff. So now that's a huge win for them. You're providing a lot of value, and that's where you can easily charge at least 20% for your management fees, a lot of time up to about 30% for your management fees. So that's basically a breakdown of the 12 different ways that you can deliver value to your customers in this business and how you can make money. And as you can see, there's a couple different configurations here. On the one hand, you can make an extra amount of money every single month when you bring on new properties. You've got that one-time fees coming in, and that's great. That's going to give you some sustainability in your business. It makes it very scalable as well because you can make money every time you bring on a new property under management. You're not paying out of pocket like you would with other models like rental arbitrage. Then you've got your pre-check-in stuff. So that's a really great way to deliver a lot of bang for your buck, a lot of punch with a few services that are relatively easy for you to implement. You can go and you can do these remotely. You can manage properties all over the world, be doing it all from the internet, all from your laptop, and be still delivering a lot of value and still earning consistent monthly recurring income from your business. And then you've got the last group of them, the 4 post-check-in services, where if you want to offer the highest level of service to your clients and you want to offer something that's really going to take absolutely everything off of their plate and help them to increase their returns, now you can start charging premium 20%, 30% management fees for your services. So hopefully that's giving you a good kind of overview of everything. Hopefully that gives you some insight into the different ways that we can make money in this business. Again, if you want this step-by-step training, if you want us to really hold your hand and walk you through exactly how to implement all of this and how to grow your business in record time so you don't have to fumble around trying to get your legs, you can literally just pick up properties and start managing them and do this really quickly and not waste any time with it, then just check out the link down below. Like I said, that's a free training that I literally spent years developing all the systems, all the strategies that are involved in that free training, putting them all into a condensed, quick training for you that's really going to go over all the different fundamentals, all the different systems, and really cover it in as much detail as I possibly can within that training. Then just, again, check out the link down below, register, get yourself a spot in there, and I'll see you inside that. Other than that, if you like this video, if you got value from it, if it helped to clarify this industry, this business model for you, then just give this video a quick like, hit the little like button in the bottom right-hand corner there. It helps me out a lot with the YouTube algorithm, so if you could do that, I would really appreciate it. If you want more videos like this, click the subscribe button. We post 2 new videos every single week. Sometimes we have bonus videos as well. I try to keep the channel with consistent content. I want the content to always be focused on just adding value to you guys. So if you want more videos like this, if you want to learn more consistently with me, then just click the subscribe button down below, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video.